All right, traders, this is your end of day market recap. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group, and today is Tuesday, May 10th. All right, so a little delay here in the video because I had an issue recording the first video, so I apologize for the delay. Risk disclaimer in front of you. Everything that we're going through is for information purposes only, not giving out any advice or recommendations. The video is for education purposes only. So let me go through and just talk about a couple of the quick themes for the day. Once again, just very hard for this market to really get going. Yesterday was a down day, Monday. Traditionally, again, not 100%, but a lot of times you have what's called turnaround Tuesday when you have a big down day on Monday. We got a little bit of that. We rallied into the open, but there wasn't much after that. Many stocks, it was the high point of the day. You could definitely take a look at what we've got going on here in sectors. Keep in mind in column AA, you've got what the sector did, or the group did for the performance for the day, which is obviously the most important thing. But what I also like to look at is, was there more selling that happened? You know, were people taking, for example, stocks opened up positive for the day, were people selling that, or were they looking at possibly adding to names today? Take a look at how many names finished in the red and in the deep red from where they opened. So there was selling going on. That's basically been what the story has been over the last, call it 2022, is that it has just been a situation where there's been a lot more selling than accumulation. And especially on days where we open up green, we just can't stay green for that long. However, we did finish positive for the day. SPY was up 20 basis points for the day. Qs outperformed. They were up 1.1%. And small caps finished basically flat for the day. But again, they sold off. You could see all of these ended up selling off from the open. Bonds were a positive thing for the day, right? They were up. They actually gave back a little bit of the gains over the session, but not too bad. And the VIX was actually down a little bit, but look at where the VIX continues to kind of hang out. The VIX continues to hang out in the lower to mid 30s, right? So just volatility is staying present, right? So keep that in mind. That this happened for a while too in February, where volatility just kind of hung around this 30 to 36, 37 range, and then finally broke down a bit. And then of course we know what happened from that point is volatility increased to kind of where we are. So that's what I think we're watching. I'll get to also the big theme, and then we'll go through the price action. But tomorrow, everybody is very much hooked in on what this CPI report is. Again, it's just what the media is focused on right now, right? They are expecting only 0.2%. So, it seems like there's a lot of people that are thinking that this number might be a little bit less than expected. I'm not sure if we're going to get that, right? It's not a big number for the month over month is 0.2. X food and energy, it's 0.4. And then the big headline grabber will be, what the year over year number is. But again, for our purposes, probably these two numbers. And then of course, I always have viewed in my Wall Street career that the PPI report is also important, but you won't hear about anybody talking about the PPI report, right? In terms of inflation, everybody will be talking about the CPI. That's just how the financial media works. But they're expecting like a bigger number. This I would think, okay, if the expectations were 0.5, 0.6, maybe we can come under that. So I don't know. I think the bar, for whatever reason, is already set a little bit low. We are hearing some reports. I retweeted someone today talking about how used car prices have been coming in according to that source. We'll see if that translates into what type of report that we get tomorrow for CPI. But bottom line, everybody's watching this thing. All right, so let's go to the price action for the on the 5-minute bar. So again, where did we open, right? We opened right on the All right, sorry about that. I had to just pause the recording. But yes, you can see this is basically what's happening right now, and it's become, a just a pattern, right? When this market does this, right, opens up green, right, just sellers are coming in and knocking this market down, right? Eventually that pattern will stop. But for now, it is what it is, right? Every time anything like a Tesla or a Shopify or any high momentum growth names are up, people are looking to come in and just knock them down, and basically, make some money off of puts, make some money selling those names. That's what's working really well in this market. You could see that happen till about 12 o'clock today, where we kind of hung out and digested. And then there was, I guess there was some type of a buy program. I'm not even sure, because I stepped off the desk for about 10 minutes just to pick up some lunch. And you could see what ensued here. I got back, I sat back down on my desk, and I was like, hey, what's driving this market? And I don't even know what it was. I think it may have been a Fed speaker who, we're getting so many of these Fed speakers going back and walking things back, walking things forward, trying to be in the limelight. That could have been one of those things, but it just shows you right now with this market, you can't chase anything that's green. Anytime that we move a little bit, unless you're really kind of settling in here and buying in here, as soon as you see a couple of green bars, there's not much you could really do, because there's no follow through right now in this market. All right, so patience is key. If you go back and just look at this, what we're seeing on this daily chart, and then I'll just review the weekly chart really. Why don't I start with the weekly chart really quickly for the S&P futures? The level that I'm watching is 40.71. Notice that, today's Tuesday, so we have 3 more days of the week. So clearly this bar is not finished, but for now, we're breaking through the value area. So if 40.71 does not hold, then we need to begin to look at some things down here. There's a virgin point of control that's hanging down here right around 3,900 in S&P futures. Again, this most likely will get taken out, and then maybe we could see a bounce from there. Again, virgin point of control. We're going back to this value area, and again, this is all volume at price. Right, so this value area is based on this volume at price from this period. Notice that price did not go through this value area at all, didn't even come close to this point of control. So I know a lot of technicians like gaps, right? They love, oh, this gap was filled, right? So it's kind of the same concept. It's leaving behind basically almost what you could call a gap, and price may go back and, once it gets closer and closer to it, it's going to kind of want to come and basically fill this point of control from all the way back there. Again, the market has a memory to it, and it goes back to high areas of volume that have not been revisited. Take a look at the last couple that we've hit, right? Price goes down, seeks it out, and a couple of times we've bounced here, right? Seeks it out, and they're happen to bounce. So I would expect that again if we do get down there. But the other thing to make this more complicated, if we go down to 3,900, right, on the weekly chart, that's going to be down here. That means then we're going to have to deal with resistance, right? What was support will become resistance. So it's going to get complicated. All right. Bottom line is, here's my trades for the day and what I did. I'm a seller on the open, especially when there's strength. This was a call spread that I put on for the S&P. It's very short dated, just a couple days away. I just thought that either something positive could happen today or something positive could happen tomorrow that could make us bounce a little bit, considering that we've been down, counting this week, 6 weeks in a row. Couple trades that I looked at, a trade that I discussed yesterday, HRL, I took that off. I just don't trust the consumer staples now either. If you look at what happened to Altria today is a good example. Hiding out in some of these things can be very upsetting sometimes. This thing was almost down 7%. Consumer staples just don't move that way. But right now, if people want to get out of something, right, and there's a lot of people hiding in some of these things, take a look at what Kellogg did yesterday. Take a look at what Campbell's Soup did yesterday, right? There's people hiding out in this stuff. All right. So once they decide to exit, it's going to be volatile. MCK, there's a few of these stocks that kind of these cheaper pharma names, right? Specialty pharma names that are holding up pretty well. Let's watch what it does here at 3:30. Had a doji today. If it doesn't hold this bottom of yesterday's candle, I'll be out of it. But for now, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. The trend looks pretty strong. Same thing with another one in this group, ABC, right? Also, Merck was strong today too. Although I did not trade this one. I didn't trade ABC either. I just picked one of them, but I would watch this as long as it stays above 87.50, right? Just a couple other trades. I tried Micron, bailed on it. SMCI, I think I've talked about this in the last couple of videos, right? This is a cheap tech company, right? PE is about a 14, right? It held in here. Okay. It's holding, speaking of gaps, it's holding the earnings gap. If it doesn't, I'll be out of it. But for now, it's holding up. It also held the bottom of value. So I added to that one, right around the bottom of value. All right. And I've been shorting in this market, especially MSTR. I did a little bit of an option trade in this one. I rolled the option trade into a short position in stock. That didn't work, so I just, I got rid of that one very quickly. But MSTR is a name that I've been trading over the last week to the short side. That's worked pretty well for me. This is the first trade that that didn't work for me. And again, I had already locked in profits with the option trade. SIG saw a bunch of puts going up, jewelry, if we do get to a recession, probably less people will be buying jewelry. So I get it. It makes sense. However, I'm just not really, so I made a little bit of money on that trade. I'm not really interested in staying into shorts for very long right now. I just don't like the risk to reward after, this is the 6th developing week of a down move. I don't find that good risk to reward, but everybody's different. Some people do. All right. One other thing that I'm watching with this market, clearly, Upstart, Peloton, these names getting absolutely smoked, right? They're concept stocks, right? They're stocks that I'm not interested in, but people like the story of these stocks over the last couple of years. These things are still getting hit pretty hard, right? Eventually, when bad news gets priced into the market, what we want to see is some of these names have bad news and they don't go down like this, right? So I think that's something to watch. Are we at that point yet? I don't think so. Look at what's happening to coin, right? Is down from the close after already getting hit pretty hard over the last couple of weeks, is down to 63. A Unity Software is down to 33. Now, again, these are expensive stocks, and rightly so. They should be selling off, but we're not at the point. So when does it stop? Well, we know when we know, right? And once these names get more bad news and they don't go down on it, right, then the bad news is priced into the stock, right? And it's a good right now, even if you're not in any of these names like me, it's a very good indicator to watch, to say, hey, these things are still going down 20-30%. That's not this is not fully priced into the market yet. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. A couple final thoughts is just being, trying to be patient in this market. It's not easy being patient for as long as this has been going on. I've been in, in my trading account, I've been in, it changes a little bit every day, but I'm around 92% cash balance in my trading account. I see no reason to kind of do anything more than that right now. At the very least, going back to the daily chart, we need to at least get above the 5-period moving average. I've used this time and time again to say if the sellers are in control or not. When you see price action below the 5-period moving average, right, or above, well, below the 5-period moving average, sellers are in control, right? When we're above the 5-period moving average, buyers are in control, right? Here's a good example too, which I reference a lot, of what happened back in 2020. Look how long price stayed below the 5-period moving average, right? And how far this went down. So yes, we are definitely seeing some of those big breath washouts like we saw back in here and in here, which I referenced last week, right? We've got that going on. Now we just need price and trend to confirm. right? And we need to figure out how much further down we're going lower. It could be 3,900, or if not, we could see a bounce that gets us back above that level that I mentioned on the weekly chart. So there's some things to watch. Not a lot of things, sitting on the hands is the best thing. If you're getting very frustrated by this market, the best thing that I could say is take some time away from the screens. Even if it's just going for a couple walks during the day, right? Going to the gym, right? That'll keep you a little bit more fresh than trying to kind of, battle with this market that has 2 5-minute up bars and 4 5-minute down bars, right? It's just too difficult. I think sometimes people think, oh, I'm not trading well or something like that. It's the market, guys. You got to wait until it gets into a better circumstances, better situation. I've been doing this for a long time, and I could tell you the market goes through these periods where it's very, very difficult. You can't do much in these situations other than, fading the strength and so on and so forth. But I'll leave it there, guys. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.